Hey guys, Boone down south here. Today I'm going to be testing the Aston Jungle Hunter 350. This is a pre-production recurve limb crossbow, and I'm going to go over the features and details of this. It's not been released yet, still in the testing phase. But also don't forget, I am a brand ambassador for Whitetail Headquarters, and you look at the link below, you got a 10% coupon. They also give discounts to first responders as well as military and veterans. So just keep that in mind this season. All right, let's talk about some specs here. It's a Jungle Hunter 350, which means it's supposed to be at 350 feet a second. Shooting these arrows. The length, it's a very short and compact, so we're looking at just under 24.5 inches from the front of the limb bolts to the back of the stock. We're adding it a few more inches with the stirrups. That takes you to just under 28 inches, or right around 28 inches. This is a recurve limb style crossbow. So from nock to nock, you're looking right at 25 inches. When it's cocked, you're down to 21 inches. The weight comes in at 8.8 pounds. That's with the crank assembly on there and the crossbow scope. The crossbow scope is a zoom style, multi-distance type scope where you're going to zoom the lens according to the speed to set it to a range from 20 to 100 yards. So that's really nice. It's also a lighted reticle on the scope that it comes with, so that's very, very nice. I'm a big proponent in the lighted reticles. It is very compact, and even though it is 8.8 pounds, it doesn't have the feeling that it's 8.8 pounds, because quite honestly, this thing feels pretty light. I think it's just due to how compact it is. With the features that you get on this thing, first of all, let me tell you, the price point that we're coming in at on this model is right around $350. Again, this is pre-production. There are some things that are going to change, such as the blue hardware and the limb bolts and the blue and the crank handle and blue rope. Those things will be changed for production. A couple minor adjustments will be made to this thing. Like I said, I've been testing this out. It's been shooting really nice, to be honest with you. I've been pretty happy with it. But at a $350 price point, what you are getting some string silencers on here. You're getting the limb jacks to help dampen the release from these limbs vibrating. You're going to get the string stoppers here. A lot of crossbows at this price point do not have those kind of features. It does come with a dry fire mechanism, and I have tested it. It does work. That's kind of what we're looking at here. It's got a nice wide grip on this thing too. Let me change the view here and show you this. Let's take a look at our grip here, our foregrip. So you've got a safety plate to keep your fingers down below the strings. It's very wide, and it feels actually very comfortable. Look how the big block here. Let me show you how wide this thing is here. So it's very wide up there, so it's a really comfortable grip. You've got a Picatinny rail up here in the front, and that's to mount your quiver to. It does come with a quiver. So you get a lot of features at a $350 price point on this thing. There is a level mounted on the back here. There is a little cheek piece here for just comfort on your cheek there. And you've got a textured grip as well on this crossbow. So let's talk about a few things. All right, some of you may say, why a recurve crossbow? Well, it's different strokes for different folks, right? And let's talk about that for just a second. One thing about a recurve crossbow is that you can actually change that string without a bow press. Whereas if you got a cam type crossbow setup, you're gonna have to get a bow press in there and carefully do that. With this setup, it's almost like a real recurve bow where you've got some different pull strings which comes with it to basically pull the limbs in, to loosen it, so you can swap the strings out on this thing. So you don't have to have a bow press if you're out in the field and you got to change a string. So that's one thing. The weight usually is a little less at the fore end of a recurve style crossbow, which makes it easier to shoot on the fly kind of thing, or off the cuff, if you will, typically. But again, it's different strokes for different folks. Shooting this one, I really like how it feels, and I'm going to try to get my first deer this year with this thing. And again, this is a pre-production model. Let's take a look at this thing shooting. Okay, so they do come with a pulling cocking device where you hook it on, swing it around this piece right here, pull down, you stand up, put your foot to the stirrup and pull. But I've had 2 shoulder surgeries, so I don't play that game anymore. It requires 180 pounds of pull. So I'm using the cranking device, and basically what you do is you will just take this down here, hook it on there like so, okay? This is the removable handle right here. This slides right in the groove like that. Now, there are 2 settings for this, like I mentioned, okay? So this way, you see it's it's going to come back on you. And by the way, because this is recurve limbs, it's going to get harder the further I pull. Not as hard as pulling with my hands and arms and shoulders. As I crank, it's going to get harder, especially as we get closer to it being fully caught. But this is going to come all the way back. If you want, you can flip a switch, that in. Now when you go to crank, it locks. So as I crank, it's not going to come back on me. A lot of crossbows make it click, 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 click when it's in this mode. This one does not. Okay? So I don't usually do that, so I'll go ahead and usually turn this off. So it's going to go back, and I just hold the crossbow and start cranking. All right, and when you cock this thing, it needs to be in the fire position. So make sure it's in a fire position when you cock it. And you're going to start cranking this in, okay? It takes about 12 to 13 cranks, and you're going to hear it click, okay? And you can just back off at that point, remove the handle, you can put it back in your pack, pull these things down, and you can just snug those up. And if you want, go ahead and click that in, so that'll stay tight and won't be flopping around on you. And there you have it. It's cocked and ready to roll. You can kind of see now we're down to 21 inches instead of 25. And again, recurve limbs typically are a little wider than a lot of the newer crossbows that are coming out with cams, but that's just the nature of a recurve. So let's take a look at how this thing fires. All right, guys, so I'm just going to tell you, whenever a crossbow, I don't care if it's this one or any other ones, I see a lot of people loading with their hands down in here as they're feeding that in. And that's just, you want to come to the end, okay, when you're loading that up. And that's if something gets bumped, if something goes off, you know, it's not going to get you. And you're staying at the end. The limbs can't get you. The string can't get you. You don't want anything to get you. So keep your fingers down at the end and not in front of it, but down here, okay? So we're going to go ahead and just take a shot over here and just kind of show you what the shot process looks like. This is an ambidextrous safety on this guy also. So the other side, and by the way, you hear that click? Watch this. Silent, silent. You can do this silently, which is a nice feature when you're hunting. You definitely want to silent. You don't want to click when you're in the woods and a deer's 15 yards away, right? So definitely a nice feature there. And there you have it. So that's pretty much a shot cycle on it. And because it's in fire mode now, it's ready to be cocked again. And if you notice down here, up real close here, that bar that comes down, that's for the dry fire protection. So once that arrow goes under there, that's going to change positions. But when you're pulling the string back without an arrow, that bar is down. So if you do fire without an arrow, that's going to catch it. And I did test that out, and it worked flawlessly. So that's a good feature to have on it as well. So you do get a lot of features on this for something that's going to be a price point of $350. All right, so with the crank handle, you can easily cock this from the tree stand. All right, so from a tree stand perspective, this is comfortable in the tree stand because this is pretty compact. So we'll go ahead and, take the shot over here, what we got. I feel like I can get a solid point with the tree stand here. Boom. Chakalaka, baby. So, yeah, this is pretty compact. Like I said, it's 8.8 pounds with all that stuff, but it still feels light. This foregrip, I really like. It's nice and solid. You got the finger protectors there. Overall, it's a pretty nice crossbow, especially at this price point at $350. It's going to be hard to beat with the features you get for it. So anyway, again, pre-production, it's not on the market yet, but hopefully it'll be coming out soon, and you guys can check it out. Whenever it does come out, I'll update the links and all that good stuff. So guys, thanks for watching, and catch you next time.